These are words that he drew from a fellow Forest Service person. He says, at the Forest Service, we lost 3,400 people, mostly recent hires, but some more established workers. The vast majority of these folks aren't Washington bureaucrats, but people working in rural America. Almost all of them having nothing to do with any agenda that the new administration is gunning for. Here's what we lost: trail crews, biologists, foresters, front desk help at ranger stations, engineers, surveyors, GIS specialists, hydrologists, researchers who study anything from plant and animal species to wildfire behavior, as well as recreational specialists. Losing these people means forest roads don't get maintained. Trails will be closed. So will campgrounds. Wildfire prevention, protections will be delayed and shelved. Timber stands will be unavailable for logging. In these rural and often conservative communities, the Forest Service and other federal land agencies provide good jobs to places where opportunities are few. Local sawmills will lose business. Communities that depend on visitors who hike, camp, ride, or boat will lose income when services are scaled back. In Trinity County in California, this means more hardship for the poorest county in the state. I've talked to several people around the area and I hear similar stories. Partner agencies worried that joint projects focusing on wildfire prevention are in jeopardy. Farmers, ranchers, and loggers are increasingly angry that the USDA and other federal contracts are being delayed or scrapped. Some of these folks face all-out ruin. DOJ claims to have saved billions of dollars, but the real number is much smaller. And even that number doesn't square for this reason. It doesn't measure the cost associated with the cuts. You lose services, you lose value. Indeed, many of us know that in the national parks, we cut a number of folks from that agency, but the national parks make us money. They actually make us money. So when you cut the workers, what you're doing is actually cutting income from our livelihood, right? So on this day, May Day, I remember people like that young man who, his name is Rob, and I remember that while he is bright and brilliant and says he's sure he'll find another job, he not only has sorrow at the loss of that job, but also at the loss of us not being who we are called to be, who we can be. And I think of Rob, I think of all these brilliant young people who are giving their lives over into service of something bigger. And what we as a nation have done to them, what this administration has done to them, is to reject them. And we are losing a generation of folks who are dedicated to service, who are dedicated to the best and the brightest and the hope that all of us have for what we want for our nation to be. And so on this day, I stand for them. I stand for the promise that we want to have a nation that takes our brightest and best and encourages them to a life of service that makes a difference. Not a life of fear and anxiety, a life where we are so afraid of the other that we turn our eyes and our heads and we say, oh, let me just crumple myself into a little dark place and I can be afraid and I can protect myself. That is the vision that others are proclaiming for us, my friends, and it is not our vision. Our vision is for a bright tomorrow. So let us fight for that today. Let us remember people like Rob and all those people who are willing to give their lives in